for me, the next two things I need to kind of complete my studio, and then after that, anything is an add-on. Well, if I were going to say three things, one is a really good studio mic, two is a drum kit, three would be keyboards, and that would pretty much cover anything I need to ever do. So I already got tons of guitars, bass. Yeah, I'd like to have better acoustic guitars and stuff like that, and my electrics I can't complain about at all. Yes, I do plan on buying more down the line, but like I don't need any more guitars. If someone told me that's it, there's no more guitars on the planet, you can't buy another electric guitar in your life, as long as these ones lasted me, like, trust me, need not want. I've got 7 strings, I got 8 strings, I got tons of 6 strings. I just don't have a really good Floyd Rose guitar, or tremolo guitar. That's about really all I want for a whiz-bang guitar, and that's it. And that might be a Charvel in the future, who knows. But acoustic guitars, same thing. I'm a big fan of 12 strings. And live, I have no interest in using mics on acoustic guitars live. It's not that it doesn't sound good. That's not the problem. It's just that a lot of times you just can't get the volume you need. So I'd rather give up a bit of tone live, and just, plug straight in, and use the preamp on the guitar and stuff like that. A lot easier. But for mics, live versus in the studio, again, two different animals. There's lots of mics out there. I don't know what my next mic is going to be. The one I'm looking in at to start with would be the Sm57 for, vocals or whatever. But if there's something cheaper that's better, I might go with that. I do want a couple of, I do like Shure as a brand. I do like them because they do make pretty good solid mics. I mean, these things, you can run them over with a truck and they still work, you know what I mean? I'm sure I've dropped my first Sm57. It was full of dents. The only reason why, and when I got my first Sm58, when I got it, that thing I had to solder together. It was basically, I was playing a gig. This is back in the 90s. Yeah, way back in the 90s. I was playing a gig, and my mic, they hooked it up, and it just kept dying. It was an Sm58, and it was just, the paint was off of it. This thing must have been older than I was at the time. And it was just, it shorted out, whatever. And the sound guy just, piece of junk, and he whipped it on the ground. And he goes, "You want that piece of shit? You can have it." And I said, okay. So I took it home, and it was just one wire. I resoldered everything, and it worked fine for a couple of years after that. Full of dents and everything. I stepped on it twice, I'm sure. I think my drummer and my bass player freaking stepped on it and nearly killed himself. Like, see him triple. I was like, why is the mic on the ground? Like, it was just, this mic just took a beating and took a beating and took a beating. And finally, after, I don't know how many years of owning it, I just, I don't know why I took it apart. I was going to do some maintenance. I took it apart and I never put it back together. And I guess must have tossed pieces of it out. I have no idea where it went, right? I guess I lost pieces of it. But then I bought another one. You know what I mean? I bought this one. And again, this one has been treating me well. Yeah, it looks pretty gross with all that stuff on it. But it's a well-used mic. This mic, not yet, but probably by the end of this year, this mic is going to have lots of stuff recorded through it. Really, really want to get into the, miking up my amps and stuff like that. It's just when I do my recordings, I can record internally on the BR1200 at like 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? It doesn't disturb anybody. Just me twanging on the guitar a little bit, right? But an amp, my Mesa Boogie amp cab, and my Hot Rod Deluxe on one, you can hear, a kilometer away. So that's what I'm dealing with. But I do want some of those real good live amp sounds and stuff like that. Really capture things. It should be fun. And when I do get the drum kit, I think I'm going to go acoustic drums. I don't want to go acoustic drums because of the noise problem. But it depends. Like, when I get my drums, if I can get away with... The problem seems to be that what I don't know, and if you have electric drums, I'd like to hear from you. Some of the lower-end drum kits, okay, like if they have a 1/4 inch out or XLR out... If they have XLR out, I'm laughing. If they have 1/4 inch out, is it stereo or is it a single 1/4 inch out like a guitar? If it's like a guitar, then I can record with it direct, and then I'll just go with the electric drums. It's a lot easier. But if not, with the acoustic drums, I've already got the mics. You know, I can record 2 mics on an acoustic drum kit. And then I got the duality of the acoustic drum kit where, you know, if I ever do have to play it live, or, you know, if I find a drummer doesn't have a drum kit and, okay, come, you do the drum and I'll play the guitars, you know, whatever. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with the drums. I would like to have a real kit, but, you know, I'm not sure if I'm going to go that way or the electric kit, because, like I say, the convenience of the electric kit, if I can plug it straight into my BR1200 or into an audio interface, you know, I know some of them, they need it, you can use a USB, but the problem is my BR1200 doesn't record with USB, right? So I got old technology there. So to buy an electric drum kit that I can't really use unless I have a speaker, the problem is then I'm back to mics again, and I don't want to mic a drum. You know, if I'm going to be miking drums, I want to mic real drums, not a electric drum kit. It just wouldn't, you know, it would just sound better. So I'm not sure which way it's going to go. I do prefer the sound of real drums, obviously. You know, like $2,000 electric drums do sound pretty good, but they're $2,000, right? You know, $500 electric drums, you might, for what I'm doing, I'll probably get away with it. But this is what I mean about building a studio, guys, at home. It's like, it's not cheap. Like, you're gonna, you know, just to get the basic stuff, like, if you think about just what I have, I'm well over $2,000 from 2006 to now in my home recording, right? So there's no cheap way to do it. Like, you're going to spend money. And I can only achieve a certain thing. So for me, I guess just to finish up is like, for my, I know I'm kind of jumping topics here a bit, but what I think is going to work best for me is to focus on getting the instruments, learning how to play them, and then take those to a better studio. But to get ideas down, let's say I got a really nice drum kit and I got it tuned up, and I know how to tune drums and stuff like that, even though I took drums in high school as, you know, the school band. So, I got the basics down like that. It's just I haven't played drums hardly at all since then. You know, once in a while. I've maybe played drums on stage maybe once or twice, about as much as I've played bass on stage, right? You know, just dabble on it. But that said, and you know, I did, you know, spend a little bit of time on the drums. I've never owned them because, you know, noise and, you know, places to put them and stuff like that. But for me, I think focusing on getting the instruments, the BR1200 will do the job for me for now, rather than, because I do have to upgrade my entire studio stuff, but I don't have enough money coming in to do that. But what I'd rather do with my money is, okay, I got my drums, I got my guitar, and I got my bass, and I have the song written. I've lived with the song. Okay, I know how to play every part perfectly. I could probably record everything in about 2 hours. Okay, go book a studio that has the best of everything, you know, on a certain budget, right? And get a professional sound, then get that sound, put your song together, and then go make a professional video. You might spend $1,000, $2,000. Okay, yeah, you could put that towards your studio, but you just recorded in a $250,000 studio. you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna get a $2,000 studio. You're not gonna get the same quality and features that you're going to get out of and the main one you're not going to get. It's not even about the equipment a lot of times. It's about the experience, the engineer behind the console that could take your $2,000 studio, make it sound like a $10,000 studio, right? And you'd say, but you're throwing your money away if you do that. Well, hear me out now. If you've got a perfectly recorded, commercially recorded sound, right, that you would, as good as you can get, and you have a good song, and you put a really good video to that, what's that going to be worth in ad revenue? You know what I mean? What's that going to be worth in advertisement for you as a band? What's that going to be worth in merch when people really like what you did? And I'll leave on a band I just discovered called Alterium. They have a song called "Of War and Flames," or "War and Flames," or "Of War and Flames." Listen how that thing is recorded, and then just look at their video. Like, they shot it in the rain. The singer, she got caught in the rain, I guess, while they're at this lake. And it's like, that added an aesthetic that you couldn't pay for, right? But what adds to that video is how good the sound, the drums are perfect. You know, like you got the double bass drum in there, you know, metal drums. The guitars sound larger than life. The bass is clear. The vocals are perfect. You know what I mean? Like, go listen to that. Listen to, okay, how did they record that? What mic did she use? The backing vocals, all that. Yeah, there's a little synthesizer and all that stuff in there. That's all done in the studio, right? And when you listen to it, it's like, okay, what would it cost to do that at home? You know, it's going to cost more than this. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. Like, build your studio over time, but I would get the experience. I wouldn't take a course on it per se, unless you wanted to actually do that. But by going to the studio, you can pick up a lot of do's and don'ts and like save yourself. Like, let's say you spent $1,000 at the studio, right? And you're really observant when you're there. And you really pay attention to what the sound engineer's telling you and stuff like that. That's why I like Spectre Studios when you listen to Glenn. I don't agree with him on everything. Yeah, he has his way of delivering the message, and it's funny, right? You know, it's because he said, like, somebody wrote in and said, why do you have to do all this screaming and stuff like that? And, you know, tell them, you know, why can't you just deliver the message, normal? And his simple reply was, because it would be boring. I'm like, but what, like, you know, he's entertaining you, right? But if the entertainment is only part of it. What you're really getting from is good information. And he can save you a lot of money when you're setting up your studio. You know, yes, getting you going, you're probably going to spend around $2,000. Maybe you get lucky and you buy a used BR1200, like my sister did, for like $250. I bought mine new in 2006. That was $1,600, my guy.